Back in 2009, WWE was going through this transition period where they had just moved to the PG era and they were seeing a lot of their top stars near the end of their full-time career or career in general. 5 of WWE's top stars, including Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker, Batista, and Jeff Hardy, were either nearing the end of their full-time in-ring career, leaving the company, or retiring. With that being the case, WWE had to start introducing some new stars, some guys that could potentially fill the boots of these guys that were either stepping down from a full-time position or leaving. In fact, WWE Magazine chose 10 superstars who they believed could be future world champions in WWE, and I'm going to go over those 10 prospects, where they are now, and if they lived up to the hype that WWE Magazine gave them back in 2009. Before I jump into this list, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notification bells so when videos like this and other daily wrestling content comes out, you can watch those videos as soon as they drop. I'm also on Patreon, where I do weekly watch-alongs for events and matches, things that we can't do here on YouTube. We do over on Patreon. I have a $1, $5, $10 tier membership. The link to that will be in the description below, so you can check that out. But I say let's jump into this list of 10 prospects that WWE predicted could be future world champions back in 2009. Let's see if they lived up to the hype. I hope you guys enjoy this video. The first superstar we have, and we're starting off strong here, is The Miz. The Miz is one of only 5 people on this list that actually became a future world champion. The Miz did it twice. He won the WWE Championship, beat Randy Orton after cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. That led him to main eventing WrestleMania against John Cena, where he won. Was it the worst main event in WrestleMania history? You could argue that it was. Still main evented, still won, and he won the WWE Championship again. I believe it was in 2021. It was during the Thunderdome era. Again, cashed in a Money in the Bank briefcase that he beat Otis for. He beat Drew McIntyre, lost the belt, I think a week or two later, to Bobby Lashley. At the end of the day, he's a 2-time WWE champion. And along the way, he also won the Intercontinental Championship 8 times, the US belt twice, a 5-time Raw or World Tag Team Champion, a 2-time SmackDown Tag Team Champion, and a 2-time, another World Tag Team Championship. A lot of Tag Team Championship reigns. He had the belt 9 times, 2-time Money in the Bank winner, technically, and the first ever 2-time Grand Slam champion. The Miz has accomplished a lot during his WWE career. I do think he is one of the more disrespected superstars. I don't think he gets his flowers. I don't think he gets the respect that he should. He is one of the most memorable superstars of the 2010s, whether you like him or not. It's true. The Miz very likely could be the most accomplished person on this list, to be honest with you. And it's crazy how we're going from him to David Hart Smith, who got released 2 years after this list even came out. David Hart Smith, the son of WWE legend Davey Boy Smith, was a tag team wrestler who was in the Hart Dynasty with Tyson Kidd, and they had early success. I mean, he is a 2-time tag team champion. They won the tag team championship twice. He re-signed with them in 2021 and then he never showed up. I remember there were reports and rumors about him being back and going to be on TV. That never happened. But I mean, as far as not accomplishing anything, he probably is towards the top of this list. I mean, he's only a 2-time tag team champion, and I'm pretty sure it's because the titles got merged. They were the undisputed champions. They had both belts, and they came together as the bronze golden coin title. That looks stupid. Anyways, safe to say he didn't live up to the hype. He's much better known on the independent scene, has a much better independent career than in WWE. So good for him there. I'm glad that he was able to, have a solid career for himself on the indies and accomplish all that he did. And next up on this list is the tag team partner that we just talked about, and that's Tyson Kidd, who only won a tag team championship. He is a 3-time champion, one that I mentioned with David Hart Smith, the last ones to hold both the SmackDown and Raw tag team championships. Then they had the gold and bronze coin together, and then he won it again years later with Cesaro. Super underrated tag team that we all wish lasted longer. Unfortunately, Tyson Kidd had a career-ending injury in a match against Samoa Joe. Who knows if he would have continued to win more championships, tag team championships, if he would have branched off as a solo star. He had some good work in NXT for a little bit too. Didn't live up to the hype if we're looking at his accomplishments. Didn't even come close to winning a world championship, just like his partner, David Hart Smith. So unfortunately, the Hart Dynasty, 0 for 2 so far in this list. Not looking good for the Hart Dynasty. We started off strong with The Miz, and we're just going to keep going down the list of failures guys that didn't live up to the hype, at least to me, Jack Swagger. He did win the World Heavyweight Championship in 2010. So he is one of the 5 guys on here to win a World Heavyweight Championship or win a World Championship in general. So WWE did nail that. He also did win the ECW belt in 2009, if you do remember that. Also the Money in the Bank, which led him to winning the World Heavyweight Championship. He got released in 2017. He can say that he is a former World Heavyweight Champion, United States Champion, ECW Champion, Money in the Bank winner, and an Elimination Chamber winner. He should have never been a world champion. Next up, we have Evan Bourne, or Matt Sydal, on the Indies, better known for, and unfortunately, he is joining the list of superstars that didn't win a World Heavyweight Championship or just a World Championship in general and didn't live up to the hype by a wide margin. He's only a 1-time tag team champion. He did win a Slammy Award for finishing maneuver of the year, Airborne. Very cool move. He was such a fun wrestler to watch. I loved Evan Bourne. He's one guy that I've said in previous videos and watch-alongs and stuff that I wish he had a better career in WWE because he was such a good babyface. He was so easy to get behind. He was a guy that I really think could have had a solid run with like a mid-card championship. Have a good babyface mid-card run, and eventually you build him up for a little bit. Maybe you give him a Money in the Bank win, and that's how you kind of elevate him to that main event scene, winning a world championship. The fans loved him. I loved him. He was great, super fun to watch, but he only won 1 tag team championship with Kofi. He was released 4 years after this article came out in 2013, and he also was out for a while too during this time because he failed a wellness policy, and he also got into a motorbike crash that left him out for a year with an injury. So he had some bad luck on his side, had some things come up that, could have halted a push or got in the way of his success. Either way, Evan Bourne, one of the superstars that didn't win a world championship on this list, even though he was a huge fan favorite and probably could have been pushed to that level if WWE did it right. This one's going to hurt me. This one's going to hurt a lot, actually. John Morrison. He left in 2011. I didn't realize how soon after this article came out that he left, because he did have a decent run in WWE. He was around in like 2005. I think that's when Eminem showed up in 2011. So 6 years as a tag team and solo star. John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, different monikers. He did come back in 2019 for a little bit, probably for like 2-3 years. I don't know if it was any more than that. He, I think, is one of the best superstars from my generation to never win a world championship. He just had everything. He had the charisma. He had the talent, clearly. He had the power to be a big fan favorite or be a heel that people really hated. He was a really good heel in his time in ECW and Eminem, but he was also a really beloved babyface when they gave him that push. I think he could have gotten a bigger push. He was in the WWE Championship picture for a little bit with The Miz. It would have been so sick to see WWE give him that big win, that one championship win, but they didn't. Even though they said that he could have been a future world champion, they didn't pull the trigger on him. He left in 2011, but he still did accomplish a lot in his time in WWE. He did win the ECW World Championship. We're not counting that as a world championship, but he did win that as Johnny Nitro, and he won it as Johnny Nitro and then changed his name to John Morrison after winning the belt. 3-time Intercontinental Champion, 4-time WWE Tag Team Champion, 3 with Joey Mercury, 1 with The Miz, a World Tag Team Champion with The Miz, and a SmackDown Tag Team Champion with The Miz. He's had a very good career. He had a very good WWE career for not winning a world championship, but it would have been awesome if he won a world championship. His entrance was so goated. It was so good, but he came back once. Maybe he'll come back again. Who knows? And you want to talk about a guy that has had a storied career and has won almost everything under the sun. Dolph Ziggler, being next on this list, one of the superstars to win a world championship. He is a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. I like to only count one of them because the first one was hand-given to him from Vicky Guerrero, and he lost it that night back to Edge, who got it relinquished from. Such a stupid thing that they did. But he is a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, also a former NXT Champion, a 6-time Intercontinental Champion, 2-time US Champion, a 2-time Raw Tag Team Champion, a SmackDown Tag Team Champion, and a World Tag Team Champion when he was with the Spirit Squad. Also, Money in the Bank, won that in 2012, and the 22nd Triple Crown Champion. Dolph Ziggler is one of the most underrated And I think one of the best workers of my generation. You can say Dolph Ziggler is one of the most trusted superstars that you can step foot in a ring with. If you need to get someone over, if you need someone to sell a move to make it look like death or whatever the fuck you need, Dolph Ziggler was your guy. Thank God WWE gave him that moment where he won the briefcase and then cashed in on Alberto Del Rio to win the world title. Thank God he had that moment, because then he got hurt after. I think he had some concussions, things going on, so he never won a world championship again. And that's a fucking shame. But we still have that moment. We will always have that moment of him winning that belt. He should have won the WWE Championship in like 2015, 2016, when they had all this stuff going on with the Authority. He came back in Survivor Series. He had that push for a little bit. They should have pulled the trigger. They should have pulled the trigger on him again. But he did live up to the hype in the sense that he did win a world championship twice, technically. And he did have a storied career, had a good long career. Did get released in 2023, but he accomplished a lot during his time in WWE. And we're going to roll into another superstar that you honestly could say has the most accomplishments. He might be up there with The Miz, honestly. Kofi Kingston. And he is only a one-time world champion, but that world championship win and reign is something that, again, we will hold on to forever, because Kofi Kingston, Kofi Mania, was such a powerful and such a feel-good story and moment. Kofi Kingston, who is a 4-time Intercontinental Champion, 3-time United States Champion, 15-time Tag Team Champion, 16 if you want to count the NXT Tag Team Champion. Kofi Kingston is one of the more accomplished superstars in history, one of the best tag team wrestlers without a doubt, and he finally got that solo push of being a world champion back in 2019. He was just one of those guys that we didn't know if he was ever going to get that opportunity, if he was ever going to be a world champion, because, you know, he was a solo star up until he joined the New Day. I think it was 2014, 2015. And then they were the best tag team faction group in WWE for years. And that's where he was, and he was phenomenal at it. And then an opportunity came, he took the ball and he ran with it. I've watched his career from the very start to where it is now, and it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Kofi Kingston, 1000% lived up to the hype. You can say he lived up to the hype more than anyone else on this list. The second to last one we have is someone that whose career really just took a 180, and that is Ted DiBiase Jr., you know, the other guy from the Legacy Group with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. He was released from WWE in 2013, so 4 years after this article came out, accomplished nothing outside of being a World Tag Team Champion with Cody Rhodes. He did that twice. He did have the $1 Million Championship. It's under his official title reigns, but $1 Million Champion, World Tag Team Champion, and right now he is awaiting trial for multiple federal fraud charges, including wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of federal funds. If found guilty, he could face up to 45 years in prison. And the last person we have on this list is his former tag team partner, Cody Rhodes. Now, the American Nightmare, as we all know, has had quite the story in his wrestling career, coming in as Dusty Rhodes' kid, being just the young rookie that was looking to take over, eventually joining Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase to form Legacy, one character into another, dashing Cody Rhodes, undashing, turned into Stardust, which led to his release, where he asked for his release, went on the indies, made a name for himself, became the American Nightmare, founded AEW, came back to WWE to finish his story and winning the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns, ending his 4-year title reign at WrestleMania, one of the biggest moments in history. Cody Rhodes, up until 2022, didn't live up to the hype. Although he is a former 2-time IC champion, 8-time former tag team champion, a few of those being when he came back. Still, 8-time tag team champion, 2-time Royal Rumble winner, King of the Ring winner, just won the King of the Ring, and the 34th Triple Crown champion. Also a 9-time Slammy Award winner, if we want to count that. But I mean, he might have the best story out of anyone on this list. You know, his comeback story, everything that happened in WWE before he left, being in that attire, that face paint that he hated so much, going from that to being the American Nightmare and winning the belt at Mania. I was there at Mania, and it was one of the coolest things I ever experienced. I mean, I borderline had tears in my eyes watching him give the belt to his mom after dethroning Roman Reigns. It was a great moment. Cody Rhodes lived up to the hype, thank God, because there was a lot of hype around Cody Rhodes, especially back in 2009, because that's when Legacy was at its peak, when they were around, and he had a very bright future ahead of him. And even though for a little bit it wasn't looking too good, he made it work, and he made up for those lost years. So that's where we're going to end the list, but I do want to give you my top 3 and bottom 3 superstars from this list. 3 superstars that I think lived up to the hype the most, and 3 superstars that I think didn't live up to the hype at all. The 3 superstars that I have at the bottom here are David Hart Smith, Evan Bourne, and Ted DiBiase. All just former tag team champions, one of them potentially facing 45 years in prison. I think there's a good reason why these 3 are at the bottom. Ted DiBiase being at the very bottom, no one can be more below him because no one else is facing fraud charges. So in the top 3 guys I have, in no order really, I'm not putting this in order, Cody Rhodes, The Miz, and Kofi Kingston. The 3 most accomplished superstars, and Cody Rhodes having the best story, like I said, coming back to WWE, winning the big one for his dad. You can't beat that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And put in the comments below what you think of this video, the 10 superstars that were on this list. Whether you think they lived up to the hype or not. Whether you think Ted DiBiase Jr. will be found guilty or not. And let me know also if you have any suggestions, ideas, anything you want me to do, see from me in the future, drop down below. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace.